Good morning. I'm Wanda Curlee, and I'm the authority on project, program, and portfolio management. We'll have a short podcast this week as my daughter's getting married, so my mind is kind of on other things, believe it or not. But let's get started right now. I'm going to switch the categories that I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to start out with events. So let me check my notes here. And my events, I have to remember that on the PM XPO, which is a virtual event, is on 22 March. If you haven't signed up for it, I highly recommend that you do that. You can do that through projectconnections.com, or you can do it through the PMI website. It's 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, PMI nominations are due on 1 March, and the nominations that they're looking for is PMI Fellow, which is a great thing to have in your back pocket. PMI Project of the Year, that takes a lot of work to nominate somebody for nominate a project for PMI Project of the Year. PMO of the Year also has a lot of paperwork that you have to file, but it's a good one to have in your back pocket, especially if you were the leader of that PMO. And the new one this year is PMI Young Professional. So if there's anybody that's working for you that you think is an up-and-coming project manager, please take the time to nominate them for the PMI Young Professional. Remember, all these people that are nominated and win, and it's usually the first 3 that are brought in, go to the Global Congress in 2018. The EMEA Congress is 7 to 9 May in Berlin. Make sure that you go there if you're in Europe. It's a good thing to have. Remember, AMA at www.amanet.org has webinars daily. Sometimes they even have 2 webinars. So make sure you check out that website and attend some of those webinars. You can claim those as PDUs if you're PMI, if you're certified through PMI. Seminars World Atlanta is in March from 12 to 15 March, and Seminars World Seattle is in April from 9 to 12. So let's shift gears here now. In the past, I have talked about PMI's Projectified podcasts. Well, they've added 2 new podcasts, but it's not with 2 new people. It's with the same people. So it's Anand, and excuse me if I don't pronounce this correctly, Swaminathan, and he's doing digital transformations, what it takes, and it's just an extension of what he talked about before. I'm really struggling to find out what it really has to do with project management, except at a 50,000 foot level. If you're in digital transformation, if you're doing digital type information, maybe it'll help you out. The next one is Creativity, and it's by Scott Burkham, and he takes the next step in creativity and calls it about part of the process. Now, I will say that creativity needs to be done within a project. That's what we've done when we go to a water cooler and we start talking to other people about projects and seeing if they've had a problem similar to yours. So maybe this one's a little bit more, but again, I would like to get your feedback on these. So please send me your feedback on these 2 items and see if you think that they have to do with project management. Now, I've done some more looking at news clippings and see what's going on in the news. So we have a memorandum of understanding between ACOM and Louisiana and federal agencies. And what they're doing is ACOM has been brought in to do project management, and this is to trim off 3 years of the timetable, and it's a $1.3 billion project, and it's called the Barataria Diversion Project, and it's a key of a plan to rebuild the Louisiana shrinking coastline. Yeah, you heard me right. I had no idea that Louisiana's coastline was shrinking, but it is. So they're trying to mitigate this by increasing the timeline. By decreasing the timeline by 3 years, which I think is a noble effort. We'll see if that happens. But I have found that when you try to decrease the timeline on a project, some of the scope has to go. So we'll see what happens, and I wish ACOM a lot good luck. Let's go to the next one. In Michigan, crews are preparing to take down a 90-year-old dam. So this is a great project management effort. And what they're trying to do is help restore the habitat for native fish. So it's good to see that the dam is coming down. It will be interesting to see how the project, and I assume it's civil engineering firm that's doing this, but they're trying to put the dam back to its native area. So that'll be interesting to follow this and see how it goes. Next one is Tesla. Tesla is in Australia, and you may have heard this. They're building a battery project, and this battery project will rival the capacity of a coal plant. Can you imagine having these massive batteries that put out the same energy and electricity as a coal plant? To me, that's just fascinating. It'll be interesting to see if Tesla can bring off this battery project, sort of like they did with their space rocket that just went off, the most expensive space rocket and biggest space rocket that has gone off, and it had 27 firing mechanisms going off at the same time, and it was a success. So I wish Tesla luck in this Australia battery project. So let's go to the next one, and this one is on a seniors housing project. Again, this is in Michigan, and it's by the Provision Living Planning, and Provisions Living, and they're planning a $40 million project for senior housing. Us baby boomers, and I'm included in that, will be moving into these senior housings as time goes on. So there's a need for a lot of them. So we'll see how this project goes. I know other seniors housing projects, especially in the Philadelphia area, are building quite a bit, but they tend to be delayed because of all the inspections they have to go through. So it'll be interesting to follow this one in Michigan. Okay, let's go to the next one. Some other things that I'm looking at is that there was an IT market research that shows that project portfolio management software, and it's going to be cloud-based, is going to rise by 14.08% by the year 2022. Again, project portfolio management is a new area, and people are realizing, and companies are realizing, the Microsofts, the Primaveras, they're all realizing that they are not meeting this market. Yes, Microsoft has Microsoft Project, and it is shifting over into a cloud base, but their project portfolio management tool, which is the best in the industry, in my opinion, is very cumbersome and very hard to use. So it'll be very interesting to see how these different companies respond to what is needed for project portfolio management. Because right now, many of us are doing it on Excel spreadsheets because it's just so cumbersome and so expensive to bring these different tools into a company. Most companies can't afford them because they're very expensive. Only the Fortune 500s are willing to pay the amount of money that is needed. So it'll be interesting to see what Microsoft does with their Microsoft project. And it'll be interesting to see what Primavera does and all the other companies. And I know there's other IT companies that are bringing in project portfolios. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So with that, as I said, it was going to be a short one. I really would like you to go to www.projectconnection.com again and get tips and hints, and to see my previous podcasts, and you'll be able to see this one too. Next week, I'll be in Philadelphia, broadcasting from my home. Please subscribe to my YouTube. Also subscribe to LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. Remember, these are all the areas that you can find more information on project portfolio and program management. Send me an email on anything that we've discussed today, especially if you're the project manager or on the project team on some of those items that we've discussed. I would love to hear from you if you're on the Tesla project or on the Michigan one or on ACOM. Please contact me. Also, please contact me if you have not heard something that you want to hear on here. Is there a huge project that I'm missing that I haven't talked about? Send me an email. I would love to hear from you. That's Wanda@pmpowered.com. Thank you again, and I look forward to talking to you next week.